Welcome to the Stress Outlet. My name is Dr. Kimberly Quinn, and I'm here with Truman and Giovanni. Giovanni just went around the turn over there. He's getting big enough I can let him off the leash for a little bit with coercion. Yeah, there's Coyote Rocks. Anyway, where the boys and I are back, there's G. They were just doing speed dogs a minute ago, speed puppies flying around. Anyway, so we're talking about fear, and we talked about this. Okay, so fear, for the most part, obviously there are exceptions. We talked about, being on the edge of the cliff or a toddler in front of a car and that whole thing. Fear is much of the time irrational because it's coming from, just patterns in the brain that are locked into all the anxiety of what if, and catastrophizing and the whole thing. And also rarely or very uncommon for fear to actually be helpful. It can be a motivator at times. It can save our lives when we're talking about actual real threats. The rest of the time, it's just torture. It's just suffering, and Tony Robbins says, in life, pain really isn't always avoidable, because stuff's going to happen in life because we're wired for adversity. We've also talked about that. Without, we don't grow when we're comfortable, kind of thing. But a lot of it, we don't need to choose to suffer. The curveballs can happen. We don't need to choose to suffer. And a lot of the fear talk is self-imposed suffering because we're allowing it. I'm not saying it with judgment. I'm also not saying that it's easy. What we do need to do, however, is recognize the pattern. And we've talked about that as the first step. Awareness is so key. We can't do what we don't know. So recognize that it's a pattern. Maybe it happens when you're driving on the way to work. Maybe it's when you're walking in the morning with your friend or by yourself. Probably more likely to happen. And to really we got to first of all acknowledge the pattern. This irrational thing, fact check it, happens to me when I'm in the shower, when I'm driving, and then realize this is not me. This is fear. This is monkey chatter. This is my brain doing this thing, and then just say, okay, all right, thank you, fear, for knocking at the door. I'm choosing not to let you in. I'm in control in the driver's seat because just like we talked about that, whatever we place our attention on, whatever we focus on, expands. Whatever we ignore, dissolves. And fear, if we don't give it all that attention, just like a toddler having a tantrum, it will subside. It doesn't mean that the fear completely goes away, because we're also wired for that primally to keep us alive. So it's kind of like a situation where it's going to be there, but it can be on simmer in the back seat or the trunk while you're driving. Another thing I like to do, this one thing I say in my head, that these are just echoes of the past. For me, it was